Hello, welcome to Northwest Connection. My name's Trelf.
My name's Seb.
And today we're thrilled to have Tommy from the Quaintest Show on Earth, a band that is the heart and soul of British music, the regulars on the Northwest circuit, but are no strangers to venturing further afield, at one point having a residency in Japan. Welcome, Tommy.
Hello.
How are you?
Thanks for having me. Very good, thank you.
So you're on your own today, but you're usually part of a band?
Yeah, and I was thinking of just bringing maybe another Wiganer who plays all round, but everyone's busy, so just me.
The weather's too bad. It's almost snowing outside. So how long have you been playing music for, Tommy?
Just over 20 years, I'd say. It's about 11 when I started playing, and did probably a gig around 12 or 13-ish.
Is that playing guitar?
Yeah, I did a bit of guitar and singing, just free chord stuff, and some playing bass with other people as well.
So an all-round musician?
Yeah,
bit of everything.
Well, I couldn't play great then, but that was the starting point.
Yeah. So what led you to where you are now?
Just got to a point where I knew it was what I was interested in doing, and pursued it for many years, and ended up doing it full time almost by accident once I figured out ways to properly monetize everything and survive whilst doing it, which took me a very long time. Only in the last kind of 5 years or so have I had that down.
And you went to college with Seb?
Yeah.
Back in the day.
John Rigby College, yeah. Then I went to UCLan after that to do a really wild music course.
Yeah. Yeah, and so where did the name Quaintest Show on Earth come from?
Initially, I decided I wanted to have a flexible name, so it couldn't be me solo or like five people. Or there's a band I was really into called the Mountain Goats, and sometimes it would just be one guy, John Daniel, and he'd say like, "Good evening, we are the Mountain Goats," and it'd just be him. But then you'd see him again, and there'd be like a full band. So it was like a multi-purpose title. And I grew up like known as Tom Jones as well, so I thought, well, I can't have my own name. Yeah. So I've gone to Tommy Jones like over the years, because no one's walking around calling me like Quaintest or something. But the other thing, it's never been said in my whole life, so well done on that one. Yeah, but the other thing of the name is that I wanted to put like an intriguing thing on posters so people don't really even know if it's a singer or whatever. It's like, oh, what's that? Yeah, is it like a magic show, or is it...
question sort of thing.
Yeah, like, what is it? What's that? And they often will still just ask, and someone will be like, oh, it's some guy singing.
It's intriguing, really.
Yeah,
because like Quaintest Show on Earth, and it's like, is he
going to do magic, or is he going to do...
It's a challenge, yeah.
So, with do you have bring different musicians in each time, or do you have a set roster of musicians that play with you?
I formed it in 2013, and we have only had 10 total, so it's not switched around as much as you might think. So yeah, but on hand, yeah, it's usually an alternation. I do have kind of a set band at the moment, which is 5 of us, which has been working really well, but I try to limit the full band, to like a special occasion. So we're just doing 2 more before the end of the year, which will be specific specials, if you like.
What are the instruments?
So piano, bass, acoustic guitar, everyone doing a bit of singing, drums that are different types of percussion depending on what we're doing. So it might be a ballroom or a cajon or a full drum kit. We all play like lots of different things. I do quite a bit of like banjo and uke and stuff like that as well.
Alright, so take a car full of stuff with you.
Yeah, well, we all just bring our own bits, I suppose, yeah.
So with the do you practice in Wigan then? Is it a Wigan based band, or?
Yeah, if we have a practice, we usually just all cram into my dining room usually.
Oh, right.
And we play in the...
Never had anyone practice at home before.
My neighbours are in their 80s and they're completely deaf, so they've never heard us have a single practice. Yeah. They had perfect hearing before. We'll just use electric kit and then turn it down and just do it all set to that kind of thing. we're not like a big blaster in the house anyway.
So, how would you describe your music to someone who hasn't heard you before?
So if it's the original music, we've covered quite a lot of genres, but it's kind of like a alternative, folky sort of vibe at the moment. I've got a new song coming out, and that's definitely contemporary folk, I would say.
You don't have a set genre as such, you just go with
We
what
have
you...
had a go at all sorts,
Right.
really, yeah.
It's funny, that seems to be a
Two
thing
main
that pops
writers
up,
and-
doesn't it? There's that-
Yeah.
People do venture outside.
You have to,
like,
I think. If you stay in your lane, then the realms of discovery just diminish by that.
Yeah, we
so-
try
so.
it, and some of it works better than other stuff. There's definitely strong suit things, and some things I look back on and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's how it is.
It was where I was at the time.
Yeah, that's it.
But do you find that there is sort of one that you always lean towards?
Yeah.
Like genre-wise?
Yeah, I think my two like primary sort of interests or obsessions is rooted in folk music of different types, and all the 70s American stuff and all the like traditional Irish and English, the storytelling of it as well. Yeah.
So when you come to write a song, do you usually just head to pick up a guitar, or is it banjo or ukulele you go for? Is there an instrument you choose?
I've got a quite
Yes.
specific guitar that is what I call like retired, because it doesn't gig with me anymore, because my guitars have to hack like 3 or 4 gigs a week,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's just done. But it's the guitar I've wrote like nearly everything on. I've had
Yeah,
it
it's your
since I was
go-to,
14.
yeah.
I keep it in like nice nick, and I always write music on that primarily, but lyrics I'm a bit of a jotter, like many of us are, and then I put it into some sort of coherent thing afterwards.
And do you write all the music and lyrics?
Michael Foster's written quite a chunk of it as well. He was the keyboard player, whose alias is John Caramel.
John Caramel.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Give him a shout out.
Where do you find your inspiration for your lyrics and your melodies?
Well, like everyone else, all over different things. So I could give you like an example. Like the latest song, I've just been finishing it, and it's like going to streaming soon. And it just came from like a conversation I had with my dad, which was about like the folk music. We'd done a couple of festivals, and he was like, so samey, some of this, it's all about like Irish suffrage and stuff. And he's like, wouldn't it be interesting to have like a song about like, the mine and mill workers of the northwest of England, a kind of road to Wigan Pier sort of thing. And I just finished it, and I played it for my mate Joe, and he was like, oh, it's like rural times, but for Wigan, So that just came. He was like, "Why doesn't that exist?" And I was like, So
Yeah,
just
Doesn't
wrote
You
it.
wonder, because bands follow patterns, don't they? The pattern of the predecessors, and especially with even looking at rock music for a second, that you think there's a timestamp of this is what it's all about. We stay within our lane. We stay within the circumference of that. When actually, you can make a rocky sound and talk about anything. Same with folk. Same with anything. Classical. It could be. A classical sound could be, dotted around war if it wanted to. Really.
Yeah.
Something.
There's great songs about like the weirdest, unnatural things, but we just get used to them, and we're just like, some of the all-time classics, like Bohemian Rhapsody or Bat Out of Hell. It's absolute like obscene nonsense, really, isn't it? But
what's the one with?
we'll sing every word.
Oh, there's a really famous one from Leonard Cohen about the blue raincoat.
Ooh,
Oh,
I'm
you've
not
lost me
sure.
there.
Yeah, that's so powerful. The lyrics in that. Cause
Yeah.
I think the first line is it's 4 a.m, middle of December, and it's just like proper storytelling, but it's really somber and it's quite ethereal, really. Love that type of storytelling.
The detail.
Yeah, it is. It's detail, and I think modern music has lost a bit of that. Really, a bit of
Definitely.
the lyrics have become a bit more.
And now it's got to fit into TikTok within so many
And
seconds.
that we were talking about
Yeah.
last time with King Lear, that everything feels like it's all got to be quick now, and you're like, there's no
But people do want to sit down at home and listen, don't they, to music?
Yeah. I mean, if you listen to specific albums, they take you places.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think modern music, it can... I'm not saying this for every artist, but it can feel a bit safe sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. And I think when you make something that you're comfortable with and you're happy with, you want it to be kind of dissected and listened to fully, and it becomes like almost someone else's song at that point as well, doesn't it? Because they're going to take something different from it you might not have ever even
I also
thought.
think that, as you said, no one's really writing songs like about like Wigan at the moment, are they? Or where they come from.
I think that's why I'm on my soapbox now in my head about it. I'm literally here now. Thinking about, I remember saving a tab on my phone easily about maybe 2 years ago there was an article that came up about 4 brothers from Wigan. It was very much the Saving Private Ryan story, but they'd all been in war, and all 4 of them went to World War II, and one of them survived.
And at some point that would have been immortalised in a song, wouldn't it?
That is exactly what I thought. It's like, how have I never heard about this in a song?
Yeah. Well, that was kind of the context of this as well. I started researching it, and it was in 1900 there were 35,000 like work-related deaths in just like various awful work environments.
That's crazy, isn't it?
And name drop that in it because of
cotton machines and stuff.
Yeah, mine incidents, general like mill. Trouble at the mill.
No health and safety back then, was there?
Children as
well. Kids working and everything.
As well, yeah.
They were so small that it was easy for them to get underneath, wasn't it? So
yeah.
So do you think you'll head down that route in the future, writing more like local based songs?
We've done bits of that before, yeah. But it's still a fairly like romantic sentiment as well, because I'm looking at the way that they managed to create so much art around that time, and the music and the folk music came out of them very much the working class, and it's mad they even found time for it, and they barely had the resources, and all they could do was pass them along, you know, to each other really.
Yeah.
Not even recorded some of these.
No, it doesn't get spoken about enough. I mean, the amount of practically your own language in this area, the Wiganese, Appenmonte, unique, do you know what I mean? You know, Babijed, P wet and all that. So,
but yeah, I don't know if I'd write more. I don't know if it takes me, if there's a full
if something inspires you to
that's it.
To do that. So, do you self-record, or do you go into a studio to record with someone?
We've done a mix of that. We have done stuff at the lounge, and I've played on other people's music a lot as well, but the most part I have done just at home really, so I can have that time with it, because I'm not rich enough to be happy with it a lot of the time. But I have set some parameters for myself in studio settings before, where I've only given myself like 2 days in there or 1 day, and I'll just only have time for one guitar and one vocal. I have to get it down in that time, you know.
Otherwise you're there.
Yeah, I think that's good though as well.
Yeah, I think that's really good.
I go with finished songs though, but they change even in there, or the producer will be like, oh, how about this? And I'll be like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, that's always good. You can get very complacent sometimes by being safe.
Yeah, being safe.
When it's actually like, could that go through a completely different...
sometimes you just need a producer to give you that bit of feedback, don't you, to change it.
The band will do that as well. They'll change it kind of completely, because say you've only written it one instrument, one voice.
Yeah.
And you don't tell them what to play. They're going to do their own thing, and you might think, oh, that's too much, or that's not enough, but letting them bring their own stuff to it, you can't do that, you know, because you're yourself, so you've got to get out of your own head with it sometimes.
Do you find, I mean, this is a thing I've asked this to a few bands already, do you find yourself staying simple sometimes, or do you find yourself overcrowding sort of things that don't need to be there? In
arrangements? Yeah, I've been guilty of that, I suppose. It's like with the recording I've been doing this last month, I've been trying to bring it back around to basics in a way, to where I sort of started with it. because we'd done all this collab stuff, and some of it was like almost teetering on disco, you know, and just crazy sort of, everyone does it, you know, and you get carried away, and I lost the song in there sometimes, and I'm like, I can't get it back.
8 minutes in.
I can't get it back either, and I'm not sure I even want to put it out, and then it's like, well, it's a waste of time, so I don't know. Yeah, I have done that, and I'm at the moment trying not to do that. Doing a bit less is more at the moment.
Yeah, it does feel that, and I actually saw a video of Slash talking about things within that the other day. He said his whole career, it started off simple, then it got really complex, and then as the age he's at now, it's come straight back to
the way it was.
Simplicity. And
Yeah.
he was like, you know, I don't even have many, like, he doesn't have many pedals anymore.
All right.
He'll just keep it really simple. It's just like it's all about where the guitarist is playing the instrument, or whether the drummer's playing it, or even the tuba player.
Yeah. As you get older, I do think this is like a slightly older thing. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Because I remember doing, you know, let's say like a cock rock gig, and I would fit as many notes in as I could in the break, because, you know, look how good I am at this bass or lead guitar.
Ego takes over slightly.
That's a whole genre that people love, you know, and you'll still, and you know, there is merit in that, and there's some great virtuosic playing, but I would just put it wherever I could kind of get away with it, you know.
I think the rule with that, I hear it from sort of the older guys really, is that, you know, don't be afraid of silence. You know, don't be afraid to just play less.
Yeah.
You know, the gaps are where people find the interest.
Service it.
Yeah, exactly. It services the song, doesn't it? Pink Floyd are the masters of that, really.
Yeah. Just one note, and it's all you need.
The drummer just keeps the groove going, and then you look at Gilmour, and like there's moments within, even like Dark Side of the Moon, there's a few songs that you just think they've not played anything for like 15, 20 seconds, or it's just a note just riding out.
Yeah.
Do less.
Yeah.
You know?
So you play a lot of live shows. Where's your favourite venue to play?
What, like consistently, or like all time, or like
Just all time.
Oh, tell you what, let's phrase it. Let's have top 5 in the world.
I mean, obviously, I don't know the answers to this, 'cause it's so kind of, but like interesting places I've played. I really like it when you get a nice theatre or auditorium. There was one in Huddersfield that was really nice, in Tears, that I played. That's the venue, not me. And the
you were playing in Tears. How could you even see the strings?
Yeah, we had a great. I organised the anniversary of my band at the Old Courts Theatre, and that was fantastic as well. I like a theatre, really. There's a few where I'd love to play to like a pin drop audience, and if I can get that, I can get it sometimes, but it's not like a, you know, a guy who, I spend a lot of time playing pubs and all sorts of places, because I like to play many times a week, so
there's constant chatter in the background.
yeah, but sometimes you want to play your own stuff and you want to be heard, and that's. Yeah. But obviously, I've got to mention, I did have a residency in Japan as a singer as well, and there was a bar that I played like 4 or 5 nights a week there, and there was another bar as well that you could play that you had to get a ski lift to, because it was in the snow mountains. So you'd have to get your guitar up on the ski lift and go all the way to the top, change your shoes,
change
go
your
in.
tuning by the time you get there as well.
Yeah, and that's just magical because it's so bizarre, you know.
I can imagine. Yeah,
there's a couple of firsts for the podcast there. Someone playing Japan and someone having to get a ski lift to a venue.
Yeah, but I've played terrible places as well, you know, that's something.
I think we've all done that.
I don't know if I'd name them, you know, because it's tight, isn't it? They're trying the best sometimes, but...
Or maybe they're trying too hard.
Yeah, or they are just not trying.
Yeah.
So what would your what venue would you like to play the most that you haven't played?
That I've like never played?
Yeah, is there a venue you'd love to play?
Even if it's unattainable, just...
Yeah, just like obscure little stages at Glastonbury and stuff, or like maybe a not even a medium, like a just below medium. I'm not like a stadium performer, you know what I mean? It'd have to be the
Everyone
right
says
level.
the pyramid stage. So,
I'll be honest with you, it doesn't attract me at all.
It's not my style, though.
either.
No, I've never wanted to go. Never been interested in it. I think I'm a bit more towards where you're at with it. To be honest.
I think
There's still amazing like venues
theatres.
on site and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd do the the Albert Hall or something like that as
Theatre.
well. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get it. You're just drawn towards natural acoustics. I think maybe more so.
But I would do something interesting and fun with it as well. Maybe get a small, quartet or some brass. And
nice.
I've always liked the idea of doing obscure stage design and prepping as well. I always like it when the artists do something fun with that. Like going back to Floyd, the Wall Tour is just like amazing, isn't it? It's such a spectacle. So
even with the way they're doing the Sphere
the
at the
scope
moment.
for that, it'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the Sphere that they're doing in Vegas.
Mm.
I think Gilmore played there.
Oh, it's mad
last
that. Yeah, you
week,
two
I
were in
think.
there as well, weren't you?
you two were the first, were they?
I think so, yeah. But I think David Gilmour played there last week, and some of the visuals that he put in the background, because you can practically do anything now. It's crazy. I mean, the scale of that place and the things they can put up. I saw Hotel California when the Eagles put that on. They played at Co-op Live a few months ago, and then they played the Sphere. I think it was probably about a month ago now. And the visuals they had, it's basically like a music video that they had of while they were playing of Hotel California, and it was so cool.
Yeah,
The
I
world's your
actually
oyster
saw,
with that, isn't
I
it?
saw Waters last year, and he had a mad Roger Waters, and he did a very similar thing to like the Wall Tour still in this time period, but it was like a new spin on it, and it did like blow my head off completely, like the experience of it.
What were the visuals and the performance itself?
Oh yeah, and his audacity, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with your, I see you post quite a bit on social media. Do you think that is an essential thing these days? Do you think that helps get people to your gigs? Or
Yeah, but everyone's got their own like groove and demographic with that. So like, I dabbled with TikTok and only gone viral once. Gone viral probably about 3 or 4 times on Facebook for absolute like nonsense, like some of the worst stuff I've ever done. It's still music and it's still songs.
It's always the daft stuff.
Yeah.
It's always something that doesn't. You think it's something random
on that
catches
point,
wind.
Yeah, people come to my gigs definitely off Facebook. I don't get much traction off Instagram or anything like that, but a lot of people, I'll see they've liked it and then I'll see them like physically there. So there's a connection there. But like virality is like a completely different thing really to that, isn't it? What you're talking about there. Is it crucial? I don't know. I've always wanted to put something on because I'm in some circles where they just don't use it pretty much, and it is a bit of an age thing really. And they'll just have a poster up that's on like best part of the year, and I'll go to it. It'd be like a small folk festival, absolutely rammed.
Oh,
And it's not even been on the internet.
Is the demographic the same there though?
Pretty much, yeah. But they've gone in, they've seen it, they've spoken about, and then you think, well, it worked for like how many years before the internet, but now that's obviously changed it. But to a degree, it must still work in some sense that it worked before the internet. Yeah, but it depends what you're trying to pull off as well.
I think sometimes it's easy to forget your demographic, isn't it? And
I think sometimes it's actually pushing to demographics that you don't need to.
Yeah.
You actually forget about your demographic.
Yeah.
If you know what works for you, then why would you not just hone in on that and try and expand that even more? Like put money into that, really, into that demographic.
Yeah, that's whether you're in your phase of like trying to please someone else or make something you think's going to be popular versus like making what you want to make, or make like finding it in the middle. Like I've been both them things like loads of times, yeah. And some of the I mean, you half want to do some of the other stuff as well. I just remember, like, one of the things that did really well, I wrote this song that was just about Wigan food reviews, which is like a page on the internet where people complain about, you know, cold kebabs and stuff like that. But it had some of the biggest reach, like, I've ever had, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands of, you know, points of interest to do with that song, you know. Because it's kind of the lowest common denominator thing. It's like, oh, I know that thing, ha ha, that's me. And then you've got someone, you know, just by putting the word Wigan on something.
Do you have, for Brother, what's best for you? Instagram or TikTok? What works best for you? Or
it's interesting, you know.
Still using Facebook? Or?
But do you know what? Facebook actually does quite well. It's an interesting one. I think it's down to the content. From what I found, I mean, we put a little cover of our own song on yesterday, and that's done really well on TikTok. But on all the others, it's done terrible.
Right.
And you know, like we put stuff that's slightly comical about stuff that we've been up to, that something's gone wrong. That'll do well on Instagram. It's
you put all this effort into making a video, and it's something, you know, silly that
I'd say
gets the traction.
YouTube feels like the place where we get the more, like, people that are interested in music interested.
But bits can be fine as well. Like, sometimes I'll just film a bit of practice, you know, and we'll be playing like the can or something, and that's fun and people enjoy it. Yeah. You're still showing we're all like good players, even though we're a bit daft or whatever.
Yeah, I do feel like that is very much like understanding your brand voice, really, of a band, or even as a solo artist. If you don't understand what you're trying to put out, like, if, say, for instance, we put something really sort of like too comical or too like on the nose, it wouldn't fit the style. It wouldn't fit the style of what we're like. But then I see other bands doing it. It's like, if they did something really serious, I would actually laugh then, because I'd be like, this doesn't feel right that they're serious.
We had Madame Claude the other week, and they just put crazy videos on, and it works for the type of band they are. It works really well.
Some really left field stuff as well that you would just never have seen in the past, where you're on like a band page and the singer's walking around asking like members of the public what the biggest dick is and stuff like that. It's like such a stretch for like, what's a red flag for you, you know, in dating. So they're doing like a kind of correspondent TikTok bit, but they're trying to drive traffic to the band.
To the music.
Yeah, for being outlandish.
I don't know, it's just it's like a different medium, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like street interviewing and things, and I've seen that occurring like a fair bit as well. You're not sure
doesn't
on
work
that,
for me.
That's a bit random, that.
Yeah.
Very, very random.
Yeah.
No, I don't know how I would feel about, say, for instance, like Brother did something that was obscure, or like really, like I say, like outlandish. It wouldn't feel right within like our branding. Like, we don't take ourselves too serious, but in the same way, it's like people are there to be interested in music, and then like I do feel about that whole you know, the band mystique. That's the thing of the past now. You have to just be yourselves now, instead of play.
Because it was a big thing, wasn't it?
Oh,
like, back in the day,
people bought into it.
Yeah.
I actually saw a band, I'm going to name them so people can look at them themselves, and I've got no opinion on it also, but they're called Guys, Guize, and they are very much doing the band mystique, and I'll be honest with you, it sort of has worked for me in a way, because the way that the guy portrays this character is very, very watchable, but I don't know if I've actually heard any of the music.
Yeah, you're just watching their videos, and you're not actually paying attention to the music they're making.
And I'm now thinking of, like, I can hear his voice in my head for the amount of videos I've watched, because I was like, I wonder if he does this on everyone, and it's the same. It's just this, it's patter, it's like this rapport that he puts out. But I can't even, and I know I've watched videos of them playing, but I can't remember what they sound like.
Yeah, that's
because he's sort of subliminally fed
you put
this
so much effort into your music, but that's sort of distract. Well, yeah. detracting from it, isn't it?
Yeah, and well, we're trying to very much be the opposite of that now. So that sort of is my question for you. Like, really, do you ever want to be something that you're not, I suppose, within the music that you play?
Like, play a character as
yeah.
such.
There's
Do you do that when you
stage
do live?
persona stuff,
Yeah.
I suppose. You get that more when you put the instruments down, you know, when you get to sing a song without a guitar or something like that, because you focus so much on the playing and the singing at the same time. But yeah, I don't think so, really. That's part of, yeah. There's no, like, real persona or anything that I can think of.
Because some bands definitely do that sort of thing, don't they? They have a stage, like, almost like an actor.
Yeah, it only works if you you have to solely, massively believe
That you're that person.
You have to.
Forced ego doesn't work anymore either. There's
No.
like a point where people would be like, oh, look at him, he's so cool for whatever like reason, and now they would say, oh, what an idiot or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
That's like a
absolutely.
change in kind of.
I do think that a lot of that is, we've mentioned it a few times in the podcast already, that everything's so quick now.
Yeah.
I don't like you, I can watch this other thing. As opposed to back in the day, it was like, I'm going to see this band, I'll see everything from this band, they're going to create an atmosphere and they're going to create a performance for me. Well, it's very much, now it's like, next.
Yeah.
Next. What's the next thing?
Yeah, you
Swipe
don't
left.
get long, do you?
No, you don't get long. You don't. You've got to impress pretty sort of immediately, and I think that is why everything's drawn now towards realism than a facade in a way.
Yeah, you've got to put yourself out there as you want, catch the attention straight away.
And people have got to be like, are they being real or are they faking it?
Well, that's a big thing, isn't it, at the moment with industry plants, you know, very much in inverted commas, and everyone being accused of it at some level, and not, you know, it's hard to say that it definitely exists as well. And there was another term I heard, like, so the Nepo baby thing, which is if you're
I've heard this.
This is if you're like, your dad is say John Travolta, and then you want to have a career as an actor or a singer,
Nepotism.
and your opportunity likelihood is like heightened significantly.
Just look at that Jaden Smith. Just look at
Yeah.
Lily Rose Depp.
But everyone's thinking about these things now. It's like the trial of the artist in a sense, isn't it? Like, what is your authenticity or credentials? Do you deserve it? You know.
Yeah, I mean,
It goes more
yeah,
with success, though.
Yeah, I mean, some people are talented enough to do it because they've had an indoctrination thing from birth.
Yeah.
You know, like there's talented actors out there. Maya Hawke from Stranger Things, Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman's daughter.
Yeah.
You know, she's done well. She's good, but there's a lot of people out there that get an opportunity and they're terrible. Jaden Smith.
Yeah, another one's Billy Lord, is it? It's Carrie Fisher's daughter, and her mum's even more famous. I can't remember if it's Debbie Reynolds or not.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, but that's like a full string straight through, isn't it? But it doesn't mean immediately that they're not. I think there was an amazing example recently where it was Kanye West's daughter singing in the Lion King anniversary or something, and it was like a very tone-deaf performance. And these other mums had all shared their accounts of how they thought the kid had got the job.
Oh, I think I saw that, yeah.
They'd been working towards it the whole life, and then Kanye walked in or something. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some fun questions for you now.
Okay.
If you could add one famous musician to your band, who would it be?
All right.
Not that you have to throw one member of your band out. but-
Yeah.
He's up to 10. He's only got 5 at the moment.
They just keep adding them in. The thing is, like, a lot of the top answers, they would just make it not my band anymore. You know, if you put a Bowie or an Elvis in there, it's game over.
What about
So it
an
has to be
obscure
a
one?
good. What?
An obscure one.
An obscure one. Probably someone I could co-write with and do like a dual-fronted band. You know, because I always teeter towards that anyway, because I give people like a lot of sway in it. So it'd have to be a good team player in a duo. Maybe like a George Harrison or something like that.
Don't know why I had Elvis Costello in my head.
Yeah, he'd do good, I think. Yeah, he does a lot of that sort of thing. A massive fan of like how Elton John writes music, and he doesn't do lyrics as well, which is like appealing in a sense. But it would be his band immediately as well. So
yeah,
he's not great to work with apparently as well.
His lyrics are like really dense though.
Well, he doesn't write any. Yeah, that's what I was saying. So I could do the words, but
yeah, he does the music and Bernie Taupin, is it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
the lyrics. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you could only listen to one album for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh my God.
He's thinking. I know you can't see it, but
yeah, I've no idea. Probably something that wouldn't like bother me too much, because it's obviously going to become like torturous like eventually. This is the only album you can listen to as well.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Probably just. Oh, can you have like a blank thing you can record onto? Or
side A and side B if it need be.
I would hate it whatever it was, so I don't know what would be the least intolerable. Like I go off.
I suppose
things
that's it, isn't it? Thinking of, yeah,
You've got to have enough range within it.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Do you have one for this, just out of interest? I know.
I answered mine last week,
Yeah.
but I've actually been thinking about it. I would change mine because mine was Use Your Illusion 2
Oh right.
from Guns N' Roses. But I also originally before that said Blade Runner's Vangelis's Blade Runner, should I say?
Yeah.
But then now I'm thinking about
But
it.
that's a
That
bit-
is so samey the
Yeah.
whole way through, and so is Use Your Illusion 2.
Yeah,
I listened
maybe.
to it the other day and I got bored
Is it
by
not-
like After a Strange.
I just know this from the examples of songs that I kind of really don't like anymore, from like either covers gigs or radio plays that are like such implicitly like great songs. It's undeniable, but I just can't stand them.
Yeah.
At this point, you know. I would even say like Mr. Brightside is a pretty like good song, really, if you can just, and Wonderwall, if you can just try and forget them for a second. You can't forget them now because they've
get that Men
become
in
part
Black
of
pen.
the
You could just-
torturous makeup of, yeah, maybe hear it for the first time, you might go, it's not bad.
There's a few films like that as well. You wish you could just like they're that good. You
Just
could watch
watch
like
again.
Sixth Sense.
Watch.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Watch for the first time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
What's the one song you wish you'd penned, and it can't be for the money? It can't be a Christmas song. Everyone says.
Happy birthday, did you say? Everyone else said
Winner
that.
for that one.
I don't. There's any royalties with that though.
Yeah, Paul McCartney used to own it and he sold it
Oh, really?
at one point. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Everyone says, "What's that?" Mariah Carey won the Christmas one.
All I Want for Christmas.
Yeah,
Is
because you
You.
think of the money.
See, that's a good song as
use
well,
that for
but it's
torture
terrible.
techniques, you know.
Yeah, it's terrible, but it is a good song like that.
Everyone knows it.
So, like, do I want? So not for the money, just like, oh, that's a
Yeah,
perfect
just
song.
that is the perfect song. That's the perfect
It's another
arrangement.
quite annoying. There's a couple of like quite annoying ones I just really like at the moment. Country Roads, the original one. I also like the Japanese version, which is from Whisper of the Heart. And
the Japanese version.
it's really good. They love it in Japan, and they like the English version more. Something like I don't know, just like a Rocket Man or something. I'm always trying to write my sort of Country Roads or Rocket Man or nothing
Right, you
too
said-
long.
it's
Something
weird, you said
nice,
Rocket Man.
solid 3-minute sort of ballad is my kind of.
My head was going more towards Tiny Dancer actually.
Yeah, I mean that's a fine
mean,
example as well. Some of the stuff they were writing for Elvis in like the mid 70s is absolutely perfect as well.
I do think
The ballads.
the first one that came to my head was Blackbird, to be fair.
Yeah, there's so many Beatles songs where they're
Yeah.
just like well-rounded, perfect little songs. Yeah, they'd be hard to even compete
But
against
it's
each
interesting
other.
we go towards stuff that melody with both of those actually don't actually no, I'd say Tiny Dancer does go somewhere really, but Blackbird stays quite consistent the whole way through.
It's a very simple one as
Yeah.
well. Not chord-wise, just in terms of the little. It's got like a really basic little foot tap, acoustic guitar, and a vocal. I think that's the take they ended up using. There is a like over convoluted version somewhere.
I think the Tiny Dancer actually, I mean, it gets a bit more dramatic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know whether that's a layered thing, really. If you isolated the piano, would it be as dramatic?
So, you got any new music on the horizon?
Well, yeah, I have incidentally been mentioning it because I hadn't finished a song in a while, and I was trying to get back to just slowing down a bit at the same time as getting back into it. And by that I mean, let's just do one song, put a bit of time into it, promote it, try and get someone to actually listen to it. Because I write so prolifically, I can just do like an album sometimes, and just in short space of time, and I'll put it out, and it's like, do people want to listen to like one whole album in one drop? I'm not spreading it out properly, so yeah, I'm just doing this single for now.
Sort of business side of things, really, if you think of it that way.
I was working too like impulsively, I suppose, with it. So yeah, I'm doing one song at a time. So I've got this one that's coming out. It's like a folk song, and it's like a rock and roll pastiche song. I'm going into Spirit Studios and just redoing the drums properly, because drums in your own house is really not the way to do it.
Yeah.
And that's well, unless you're obviously a master of your field. But
just neighbours hate you as well.
Yeah.
I've struggled with that my whole life.
But his neighbours are deaf.
That's true. I'm going to start doing it at your house.
That's right.
I have practice pads at mine. I have silent cymbals and basically like a
Someone's
drummer would have
so bothered.
like a snare pad, a practice one. I have a full drum kit of them.
Did the neighbours say you
does
still
anyone
hear it?
Can't hear it in
they
another
can't hear it
room.
at all?
No, I
Oh,
put my
right.
headphones on, and then as soon as I put my headphones on, I actually can't hear
I thought
myself.
you were going to say you could just hear the tap.
I put my headphones on, I can't hear myself drumming, then I go, fuck. It's just counterintuitive. It's actually that good, it's that beneficial. I can't even hear the shit I'm playing. But it's very good for the neighbours.
Yeah.
Not good for recording though.
Yeah, I've never really been able to record drums. It's just not something in my arsenal. But so I'm doing the folk songs will be out when you hear this probably, and then the other one we're doing is like a rock and roll pastiche, I suppose. It's kind of the sentiment of it is it's called 2K rock and roll, and it's about bringing rock and roll and old flavours of things into a modern setting, I suppose.
Like it.
Yeah. So, do you think that you will go back to writing an album, or do you think the days of an album sort of over for an unsigned band?
I've been told to put them all out separately and then delete them and then upload them as EPs or albums or something.
It's a weird one, really. It sort of always comes down to what you want the outcome to be, I suppose, doesn't it? Like if you're such a prolific writer and music maker, that like why would you keep that from people? But also like if I have my own belief of it is you don't write music for it to not be heard.
Yeah.
And people will be like, yeah, I write music for myself and I love creating music. It's like, but music is made to be heard.
Yeah.
In its natural form, if you think of it that way. So why would you not want to create a sort of plan behind that for people to get behind it and then release the beast, if you want to call it anything?
Yeah, that's true. I have known people to write and play who don't want to be heard at all, though, which is an interesting thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very much like, you didn't decide to pick up that guitar just to play in your isolated bedroom. Yeah. That's my own point.
Well, maybe they want to, but they don't feel kind of capable of it.
You've not got the confidence to.
Yeah, because that is a tough thing in itself, isn't it? You're laid bare these days. If you put something out into the internet, people could say anything about it, couldn't they?
Absolutely. You put yourself out there, get ready to be scrutinised. That's the form.
I had one recently, and I'd been playing at this Irish bar, and I'd just done a Rolling Stones song, and I think it had really upset an Irish guy online, and he said something like, "Hope no one paid," spelt Pade, this Egypt to sing or something. But then when I looked it up, the it was all just like hate comments replying back to him in my defence. So I was like, oh, that's nice in a way.
2024.
If the internet has your back, yeah.
1990s, that would have just been the one comment.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking out for each other. These days, so
Law of the Jungle, but it's not as bad as you think it's going to be when it actually happens, you know. But people do worry about it. Anyone who's played a few like fairly serious games knows what it's really like out there, you know. And you'll get much worse in a session on there than you will trying to put some art out.
I always think of it as like, imagine being a Premier League footballer that's made like a massive mistake, and the amount of tweets they must get.
Yeah,
the amount of hate,
the criticism.
You just don't want to open your phone for a few days. Really,
yeah,
let the notifications die in the background.
Well, thanks for coming down, Tommy.
Very welcome.
This terrible weather.
Yeah, absolutely awful weather. But yeah, thank you very much for coming down.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.